Hello there, it's Mike.
And Katie.
And it's episode 161.
The one with the end of 2021.
On this week of Cup of Rad.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, we're back. I bet you missed us. It's been a whole
It's been
week.
forever.
2 weeks
It's
almost.
amazing how when we miss a week, it feels like it's been a really long time.
It can feel really like a long time.
Okay, so we have to, before we continue, I have to express, in case we just randomly start laughing, in order to continue cooking, because Mike's a rock star, we are made a makeshift podcast room, fort actually, under our dining room table, because it's awesome.
Yeah.
And the cats have decided it's also a play area. So if there's weird scratching sounds, or we suddenly have to laugh or yell out at the cat, that's why.
Yep. We're being attacked currently by Valkyrie. She is attacking the blankets. Instead of just coming in and hanging out with us, she is finding ways to attack us through the blanket.
Yep.
So
survival podcasting.
Right? Hey, you know what? Who knows? Maybe this will sound better.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So if it does sound different,
it's also a lot warmer in here. I've pretty much almost taken my pants off. So it's
gonna start hanging appendages out.
Yeah, it's warm in here compared to our normal
space. Podcasting room is the coldest place in the house. So this is
well, you've probably heard the heater come on mid podcast.
Yeah. But it's perfect. We have a nice cold beer to
cool us down.
To cool us down.
That's right. We have the Bricklayer positive contact Kolsch. I like Kolsch
better. Yeah.
I'd like to Kolsch all over.
It's a well-deserved beer. Thank you, Bricklayer.
And you found that their logo they got on there for beer for people with mouths.
It's one of my new favorite places ever.
That's a fantastic thing to think of. I've got a mouth. You've got a beer. Stick it in there.
What's not to like about that?
You know, that's what happens.
Good stuff.
So Christmas happened.
Christmas
did happen. And
Christmas is grand and spectacular in the Rad household.
It was a good day. It was a good day for sure. New toys and extreme sets. That was really exciting.
Yeah.
I've got lots of photos going on. Yeah. I was lucky enough to have a mother-in-law that supports the addiction. And there's going to be lots of new extreme set pictures coming.
Well, you've already just done so much. You were able to play so quickly even with them, which is cool, and very versatile with the figures that you did get.
Yeah. It
wasn't like, okay, this is only going to work for this figure, which was nice.
Yeah, exactly. So. That was one thing that I really do like the extreme sets. They might be a bit pricey in some cases, but they go up so quickly for quick shots. I was able to do a lot of stuff just here at the dining room table. So it wasn't like I disappeared. I was still able to talk to you guys out on Christmas.
Well, there was one set that had like a jail cell.
Yeah.
Which had so much dynamic aspect to it. And it was such a small little setup, and then you can go so grand with it too.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So
that was really cool.
Which is really awesome. I got some new figures this time around. Still waiting on my Super 7 stuff, but that'll come. But I did get the Violator spawn, which is pretty awesome. Beefy little monster. We got a lot. You got a lot from Toy Church. You got the Violator. You got got
the Frankenstein. That thing's pretty awesome.
NECA Frankenstein. That was really good. So if you're a Universal fan, it's a definitely worthwhile.
Well, you sound he was even a little taller than Michael Myers, right? The NECA horror stuff.
He was taller than Jason.
Okay, there we go.
He's about the same height as Michael Myers,
which is pretty awesome.
So yeah. That was pretty cool to see when I put him up on the shelf. Didn't get it on Christmas, but we had to run down and get it. The Goliath gargoyle from NECA.
That wingspan is spectacular.
It is pretty wild. I can't wait to get the Bronx to be able to get the closed wings, because right now I do not know where I'm going to put it. But that is not hindering me for batting the Blues to be able to get the entire gargoyle line, because it's friggin' amazing. It looks fantastic. It brings me all the nostalgia feels, but also a bit different, because it looked really good right beside even like Frankenstein with the detail
that
they put into it. So that was really cool to see.
And don't forget your newest little guy.
Santa Claus brought me a Plunderling. And that was really cool to get because I'd been looking at Plunderlings for the longest time and wishing and dreaming. I'd wanted to get one of the fawns, but they never came in. We weren't able to order. They sold out so fast.
Yeah.
But I got Nomad Goyle, so I'm excited. That one is definitely going to be one that I take out into the wilderness, the wilds. I think it'll be a fun one.
They'll have lots of summer pictures of
yeah. You know, that's definitely they're a fun little character because they come with so many little pieces, and they're just adorable, and the box is just great. So.
Well, it's a perfect mix of adorable and scary. So it's just Mike's perfect little figurine.
There you go. So Katie did surprise me though with a ukulele. So
a Fender electric ukulele.
That's true, yes. And so I've been playing that each day, about 15 minutes or so. So I've been trying to make sure I try that because I've never had an instrument in my life at all. Never played anything. I'm not musically inclined. Well,
what's awesome is Fender has a Play app, and so we got him a year subscription to it. It's awesome. They offer it half off even for your first time around, and it just little video tutorials of things. So
1 to 6 minute videos.
Yeah, so it's been cool because I can already see your progress, and it's never been like the oh god, make it stop, what have I done moment. It's sounding more musical, and so it definitely has paid off, and it's cool because you are picking up on it.
Yeah, so it is really cool. I'm struggling a little bit with my dexterity from a shoulder injury, especially for that G7 chord. So
which is why you want a ukulele versus guitar.
Yeah, because it's smaller strings. So I'm pretty excited. So the family also got me an amp to go with it, so I can make it sound all electric guitar-y. So hopefully once I get good enough, maybe we'll have some ukulele Cup of Rad interludes.
Cup of Rad riffs.
Because I can.
Can you make a Rad Nijo song?
Maybe I could probably just do that now.
Yeah, you could, and I think you should.
But I could, because you can plug the amp into the computer to be able to record, and you don't get the ukulele sound. You get whatever electronic sound from the amp. So that would be kind of cool. So I'll leave you in charge of downloading the things that need to be downloaded. I
know, I get to try new editing and like sound pieces. I'm going to be a sound mixer, yo.
Yep. So, who knows? Cup of Red might turn into a very folksy, artistic slam poetry podcast going forward.
You do. Someone out there is going like, yes, make that happen.
Maybe next Christmas instead of the
that'll
Christmas
be the goal.
episode.
The goal, I think, it'll be ukulele slam poetry.
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
It's already planned, man.
So 2021 came to a close, and
what a spectacular year, right? We can all agree it was one of the best, she said sarcastically.
Yeah, so 2021 came to a close, and we started 2022.
Yeah.
So this is the episode that kind of clears up some of the leftover baggage that we had from 2021. A few movies we watched over the Christmas break, a few TV shows, things that ended up.
Well, yeah, it's nice. I was able to have the week off after Christmas, so a bunch of time home. And of course, with them on break from work and school, then able to watch more movies and take advantage of that time, which has been great.
Yeah, which was nice. So more Christmas movies coming at you after this break. Yeah, there was no break. I'm sorry. It was preparing you for when I get good enough to play the ukulele.
And insert music here.
Yeah, that's what would happen. There'd be little, I guess I could have played something. I guess I could have played.
You just show off a few of your chords that you're learning.
Ding, ding, ding. So what ended? What is something we hadn't talked about that ended? There was a show.
Hawkeye.
That's right. Hawkeye.
It was Hawkeye. It was a Christmas series, which was awesome. They led it right up until Christmas, which I think was so cool. They did that for the time frame.
Totally. Now I'm literally going to be waiting every year for Marvel's Christmas series to come because it was so fun to be able to watch something that was based around, what you want to see, nerdism and whatnot, but also be like, well, I'm watching something Christmassy.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
Right? Yeah. So it was like, all the shows go on break, right? They all go on break a week or two before.
Yeah.
And then, it was clearly a Christmas episode.
Yeah, they constantly talked about
series, right?
Constantly talked about it. It came, being in New York, there's Christmas all over the place.
Exactly.
So as a big, huge Hawkeye fan, what did you think of the series?
I absolutely loved it. I had so much fun watching this series. I was ear to ear grinning each time I saw an episode.
Yeah.
The fact that they gave us trick arrows in multiple episodes, and especially in the finale where we got to see that Clint actually makes his arrows too and knows how to make them. He's not relying on Shield or Stark. He has arrows from them, but he knows how to do it.
Yeah, he can make explosives and also the tech stuff. He was soldering things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was just super cool to show because he kind of just seemed like very flat in the MCU for the most part.
He seemed so much more like he could really do something.
Exactly.
It's a very self-sufficient.
Right? And they brought in things in this series that we haven't seen. They brought in the hearing aid, and I love the like they just showed like, oh, you have a hearing aid, and then it's just flashbacks of all the explosions in the MCU that he's been in.
And then you look at it and you're like, oh shit, of course.
Right?
That makes sense.
Yeah, he's just a guy, right? He doesn't have...
How are the rest of them not deaf too?
Right? So seeing that, and then also like seeing him actually like fight with his bow and arrows and all that, like this show redeemed Hawkeye for how he was treated throughout the movies, I feel.
Well, this really felt like I was watching a comic book. A comic book art come to life with the villains that were there and the humor and the action and the character development. Like I really cared about both him and Kate.
Yeah.
And it felt so exciting, and it was so funny and so much heart, and these extra side characters that actually still really mattered.
Yeah,
the
but
LARPing
didn't overshadow.
You really cared about them.
Yeah.
And it was so well done. It really felt like I was watching something comic booky.
Yeah. And they did such a good job with Kate Bishop. They pulled out kind of the spoiled brat aspect that she has in the comics that hit and miss for me. Like there's been a lot of stuff that I loved about Kate. So I was really excited to see her, and Haley Steinfeld played her so brilliantly.
Oh, she was so good.
And I'm excited to see where they go forward with the character. And it was nice though with the end that it turned out to be that it wasn't as much as it was a bit of a torch movie to kind of have Kate be the new Hawkeye. It wasn't so much that we wouldn't have the possibility of both them running around.
Well, because you were really scared that they were going to try to kill him.
Well, they've killed everyone.
So
that's
why would
from
they
the
not?
original crew. Like it's like him and Banner are the last two.
The only thing that kept us going, we're like, they wouldn't kill him right before Christmas, would they? That would be the worst Christmas series ever.
Right?
Like it would end. It would go from like so much excitement to like, what the hell? They killed him.
Right?
So that we were hoping that wouldn't have been allowed.
Yeah,
so.
and I was full on expecting full torch, like I'm hanging up the bow.
I'm done.
Right?
Yeah.
And how it ended, I feel that was a cat, by the way. If you heard that was a cat jumping off the table. He's excited about his new costume. He's excited to talk to Kate about things.
Well, he looks like he's
almost renewed.
Got some renewed life, because I think, understandably, Infinity War sucked the life out of him. He's lost so much. He lost his soul for 5 years when he was Ronin. So now with that being put to bed, some renewed branding.
Yeah.
She was right about that. Just something to invigorate him and make him remember why he can be inspiring and why he can help people and not just be the old broken guy that, everyone dies around.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think she just has that bright and shiny optimistic aspect.
And I'm looking forward to the possibility of a season 2. I hope they do a season 2 because I think they would work well, especially even if they decide to have them working together again.
I want to know more about his wife.
Oh, who she really is?
Who she is with this watch and
with
everything.
The shield.
Like yeah.
It would be cool if she turned out to be Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Just as like that nod.
Yeah.
By all means. But I really, yeah. Well, we got to see a Daredevil villain make a reappearance. So that was really cool.
Well,
Kingpin.
I loved how he just kept referring to him as the big guy.
Yeah, the big boss.
And, it was literally and figuratively all the same time, right? And he's still just scary.
Oh, yeah.
And
that battle with him and Kate was impressive.
Yeah.
right? Like that was.
We have Valkyrie's coming in to join the podcast. Yep.
She's going to come have a talk.
She's right here. Are you going to say hi? She's like, I want to get behind you guys and figure out what's going on.
Yep.
Anyways.
But that battle between him and Kate was epic. All the fights in it with Yolanda.
Yeah.
Kate and Yolanda's fight was just...
She was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see. I want more... I don't know if she's going by White Widow or whatever she's going by. She's the best thing to come
out of Black Widow movie.
Yes, she is. She totally is.
Like, she was just so likable.
Yeah.
You know, for being so scary.
Yeah.
She was just that whole conversation. You know, hey, Kate Bishop, over and over. Yeah. Are you just saying that to remind you that I know, remind me that I know your name?
I am.
Yep.
I am. The mac and cheese and the hot sauce, like.
Right? She was just so, like, real
genuine?
feeling.
Yeah.
Genuine, yeah.
Right.
So.
And, yeah, no, there's, like, it is actually a show I would probably end up watching.
I told Mike
annually.
We can watch it every Christmas, and then I talk about it, and I'm like, but we have to wait till next Christmas.
That's what makes it more exciting.
I know.
Because then we'd actually have a show that's Christmassy to watch each year.
I know, right?
So
it's pretty awesome. So
I do want the toys, though.
I know, you told me that.
I want to get those figures.
That makes sense.
I love Hawkeye and Kate Bishop in Hot Toys, but that might be just a pipe dream.
That's too much, yeah. But
okay, just Kate?
I'm not going to say no.
She looked better in the suit than he did.
Yeah, I'm not going to say no. I mean, it's a purple suit.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Exactly.
I'm impressed that I have not been asked for another bow and arrow.
I do want a bow and arrow.
I know. So maybe next Christmas, you know, I got him a ukulele and now the next one.
I got a birthday coming up.
Oh.
Go learn how to shoot bow and arrow somewhere.
There you go. Okay.
So on Disney Plus 2, something came out on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I can't remember.
Eve.
Encanto.
Yes.
It's a new one that came out at Thanksgiving, animated musical.
Kind of quietly happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was there and then was on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
A lot faster because some of the other stuff isn't coming until later.
So Encanto is basically, it's an enchanted house. The family, Mirabelle is the main character. Her grandmother was fleeing their hometown from what appears to be bandits or some sort of conqueror-esque characters. And in their fight and run from their home, her husband was taken down, and she asked for taken out. Asked for
gangster style.
Asked for a miracle to protect her, and basically there was like this enchantment that came over them. So then the whole family now has been blessed with some sort of superpower, essentially, some magical enchantment that helps them, and they've created this little lush bubble of sanctuary that people live in. And Mirabelle, you're supposed to get it at a certain age. Basically, you're blessed with this gift, but she doesn't get one.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of trying to figure out her purpose in her family. And the enchantment, the gift is starting to waver, and she has to solve this mystery and find her way to fix the family, essentially.
Because the family essentially is basically all on looks versus actually liking each other, understanding. Like, it's become very much a thing that is, well, who cares about you or me or them?
But it's just a matter of what you're supposed to be doing for the family,
and how the town
purpose
perceives you.
Yeah,
right?
so I mean, it's not what's best for you, it's what's best for the image and everything like that, and making sure. So it's a good commentary on that.
It's a good story.
Yes.
It was a good story. I enjoyed the story. The music was good. The colors were brilliant. The animation was fluid, like all of Disney's animated.
Oh, it was beautiful, yeah.
I just wasn't thrilled.
Yeah.
It
was pretty, but it was forgettable.
I honestly don't know if I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I would. Like,
well,
it's
so Lin-Manuel did all the music for it. I like his style. I enjoy that it's something different and refreshing, and especially
fast-paced.
Fast-paced, especially something for Disney where so much of the Disney movies kind of started feeling a little bit of the same with their music. So having some different variety is fun. One thing I did really like is a lot of the characters had some very unique sounding songs. Mm-hmm. They weren't like all going to sound in this one like cultural style or something. You know, it was a little bit of everything. So that was enjoyable. But also at the same time, it got to the point where it was like, oh, it's obviously Lin-Manuel. And oh, I can see what's going to happen right here because all of his songs do this. So a little bit of realizing just in general for him, how much he has a style, and it is very apparent to be in everything that he's doing. And there's a good and a bad to it, right? Yeah. He needs, I think, taking his style and influencing something that he's doing rather than taking the exact same print and doing it over and over and over again, all these different things. So I think there's something to be had with, you know, a little bit of a tweak on that one. So that was my real it was cool, but it was also a complaint at the same time, right?
Yeah,
so,
like it was
because the songs weren't catchy enough. They were almost so fast paced that I can't remember them enough.
Yeah,
you know, and the movie itself was not so much of a blown away to watch it again.
Well, because there's no real villain in the story. It's all self reflection.
Yes,
which shows that the movie is not made for children.
Yes.
And see, that was one thing that was weird, though, is because, like, the opening song, to me, felt almost too childish.
Well, you were afraid it was going to be too
It felt like
simple.
Dora the Explorer at the beginning there. Like, I was just like, okay, I feel like I'm in
what
a
have we done?
Nick Jr., Disney Channel Jr., like, that's how it kind of felt when it started, and I was just like...
And then it got, like, really intense.
And then it got deep.
Yeah.
And then it got, like, super deep, and then it got creepy deep, and then it was just, like...
Creepy deep, I like that.
And then...
Well, the concept of the family unit and all the ways that everyone intertwines and finds their place is a big concept.
Oh, yeah.
And having someone estranged and finding all those connections, like that's a big thing.
Oh, yeah,
and
totally.
So it's a good story, but it's hard for a kid to really relate to and be like, oh yeah, I want to, you know, but it shows a reflection, a world now where we don't want to have the heroes versus the villains. It's the heroes and the
inner turmoil,
kind of sadness over here that we're dealing with, right? You know,
right? Well, because that's what we feel is more relatable is our inner but like turmoil. You know what? Any of those basic bitch pumpkin spice listening, they all need to reflect on this and realize how much this movie, as much as it's taking place in like the 18 something or others, it's a complete commentary on Instagram, influencer life of like, you know, everyone's posing
to do something,
but deal with your shit.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and because I like with the characters, especially like her one sister that says, you know, she's only making beautiful things. Everything has to be, everything's perfect about her. And Mirabelle's basically helping every single one of them. And I really like her sister is like, I don't have to be perfect. Yeah. I can make mistakes. I can be creative. I can do something kind of, for lack of a better word, sloppy. And
she made flowers, by the way, like flora.
Yeah. And so it's still something with edge, you know, and I can do something different than what everyone expects me to have to do. And it's such a simple concept, but it is the reality of the influences where it's you get put in a bubble, a little box, and you're supposed to stay there. Yeah. And it's hard to get out of that.
Do one thing. Don't do one thing. Feel your heart. Be wild.
Be a little bit of everything.
Free. You know what? And love a little more.
Right.
And accept faults and flaws and differences and realize that we're multifaceted beings that have so much more to us than what we put on the interweb.
Well, and it's most important too of a family unit doesn't need to be this image that gets projected to people. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, what's most important is how it works together, not what gets projected for other people to judge. So be less judgy and people won't feel like they have to project something that has to be judged.
Exactly.
Be a little less douche.
Yeah. Always comes back to it.
Always comes back.
Speaking of being not judgy, this beer does not need to be judged. It's a well-deserved beer. Bricklayer is fantastic. I am so sorry that you can't get it because it is a tiny little brewery only serving our area.
Yeah. But the world needs to have.
But I need to go buy more of this because
we were right by it today too, which is like I'm crying inside that I didn't go and buy some more. So I might be buying it again tomorrow. I might need to go buy some.
Yeah. I need to keep drinking this because it's fan-friggin-tastic. So we got Crave because we'd watched that 8-Bit Christmas a few weeks ago, and then we hadn't really watched anything on it. But we really got it because, you know, it's coming out in a couple weeks. Peacemaker.
What's most importantly coming out is Eagly.
The Eagly Show.
Eagly Show with the sidekick of Peacemaker.
Right, yeah.
It's going to be a thing now. So I'm going to fully lean into this.
Hopefully Peacemaker's listening and he realizes that it's all about Eagly and he's just a sidekick.
Yeah.
According to Katie, I totally believe Mr. Tidy Whitey for all peace is the real deal.
So little known fact, I apparently am a little obsessed with eagles. I don't love eagles. America. I don't love eagles, okay? I think they're beautiful creatures, but they mock me, Kiddo and Mike.
We don't mock you.
They don't mock me. It's because, okay, so...
We lean into it.
We have lots of bald eagles that live in the area, okay? As an American, you grow up and you're told that eagles are majestic and wonderful and amazing and the symbol of awesomeness. And then you come to Canada and you get to see these eagles and they're majestic and amazing and full of wonder. And every single time you see them, you're, oh my gosh, there's an eagle. And they laugh at me every time because it's like, oh God, Mom pointed out an eagle. And... Because it's true.
We won't even see them.
And I'm like, eagle.
And then all of a sudden...
She has eagle senses.
Yeah, if she had a superpower, it's eagle senses. The kid's right. That's right. The third voice showed up from the depths.
He broke away from his Mario game to tell us about eagle senses.
But yeah, she has an eagle sense. It's like literally, we'll be driving along and she'll be like, guys, eagle. Eagle. So, and I tweeted today... asking if James Gunn, if he knew if there was going to be Eagly merch, and he just liked it, so that gives me hope that there'll be Eagle merch.
Because I will totally be.
The t-shirts, the tank tops, the dresses, the hats, the hairpins, the patches, the stickers, the Funko, the 30 Funko variants of Eagly. So who needs a Harley Quinn shelf when I can have an Eagly shelf?
I mean, these important things, right? So there's my history of the Eagle comments that are going to definitely happen once the show especially starts.
Eagle! Mike, there's an eagle. Do you see the eagle?
So what we need to do is we need to live podcast as we watch one of the episodes, and I can point out every time Eagly shows up. Anyway, we're off track.
We're just showing you that we're excited for
So this is the reason why we got Crave
back.
So in order to get, we got Crave, and we're like, well, we might as well take advantage of other things that are on there that are free. One of them being the new Space Jam, the New Legacy.
Yeah, you made that a lot longer than I was expecting. It just says Space Jam, New Legacy.
I tried, man. I was going to just say the new Space Jam. But then I was
Space Jam, New Legacy came out.
2-second review. It was terrible.
Yeah, Katie did not like it. Did not like it.
I love the original Space Jam. It's a terrible movie, but it has a special place in my heart. Seriously special.
Well, the original Space Jam was simple. It was a really simple story.
And you know what it involved? The Looney Tunes.
You think about it, it was like the Looney Tunes were in trouble, so they had to go find an athlete to help them. That was the original story. This was like this emotional turmoil crisis of LeBron James with his fictional family to fight in this Warnerverse overbloated. Looney Tunes aren't there. Look how many licenses we own.
It was just a giant look what we have.
Yeah, right?
We're amazing.
It's almost like if you spent less money on licensing your own characters within this movie for these Easter egg Ready Player One moments.
Yeah.
It could have been more enjoyable, but you threw so much of what the Looney Tunes were under the bus for a very shallow rebooty and reimagining sequel.
Well, with the original Space Jam, the monsters were a pivotal part. I really remember their style.
Yeah.
They were very unique. They were characters. I couldn't tell you what the bad guys look like in this movie.
There was
there was a snake and a water snake, but they weren't really there because what was more important was the AI guy.
Yeah.
Right? That was a thing. And then I remember all the damn pirates. Why were there so many pirates?
Yeah, what Warner Brothers movie has pirates? I would like to know,
do you know what movie they were from?
Because I was trying to think about
because it was the mystical, we apparently made a pirate movie at some point, so it's okay. It's not actually licensed. So they were the ones that were there the most.
Filling in the background.
Where are the pirates from?
But yeah.
But they were those characters should have been more memorable than there was no character development because they were just mindless months.
Well, they were
creations,
just creations from the AI from the kids' game.
So there was just way too much going on, and
you got lost every time the background for the basketball showed up. I was just looking at the background.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to be like.
I was like, hey, there's
I Spy over here.
The
Matrix.
This Batman movie, that Batman movie.
How many Jokers there were?
There was like 4 Jokers and 2 Penguins.
Right. So I just there was so much there that the story got lost.
And whoever they got to play, fortunately, got to play the Arnold Schwarzenegger version of Mr. Freeze. They did a bad job on that.
Yeah.
Because he didn't even look like him. Like they should have put him in his suit, not in his overcoat.
He was in like the robe type thing.
Yeah, he was in the robe.
Yeah,
the sing.
See, Mike could do a better job at it.
That moment, right? Like, but yeah, no, it was not. I was trying to go in with a clear, open mind.
Yeah, I was trying to be open about it, but it was just
I was finding those moments, like the moment, I was when Bugs was all like, yeah, they all pieced out because they were offered other things, and he was all depressed. I was like, oh, they're gonna like do something deep with the Looney Tunes, and then they just like picked them up so easy, and there was so many questions and so many there was just a lot going on, and it was too busy. It was too busy. Yep.
And it made my head hurt. And there wasn't enough forgivable stuff. Like there was a decent side of the story underneath there, but there was just told in too many different facets.
But it was also very generic family movie.
Yeah.
Like with that
just
the overbearing father pushing the kid, not understanding. The kid doesn't want to. Kid needs to show what he can do, so the father backs off so the kid can grow. Mm-hmm. We've seen that movie a bazillion times.
Yeah.
And it didn't make it any better just because it was slapped with Space Jam.
Yeah.
So it was a shameless revitalization of that franchise.
They could have made this. Yeah, they could have made the same idea in the story without using Space Jam.
You know what? Why not pick a different sport? Why do we got to pick basketball? Why can't we pick something else?
How was it Space Jam too?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Why called Space Jam? They weren't aliens.
Oh, yeah. Well, because they were just going off the license.
I know, but then that's the thing.
Because the AI was all about marketing.
They just used that, though. It just
the AI was just using everyone.
Yeah.
There was also just a bigger stakes. Like it was like the stakes in it were huge compared to the original. The original was just like the Looney Tunes are going to go to the aliens' planet and get enslaved to do shows. This was basically like they were going to have
the world was going to end.
Yeah, they were going to have all these people like. It's very egotistical of them to have had LeBron James as, this, Michael Jordan was just saving the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
There was nothing
LeBron James
else.
was literally saving the world.
Yeah. It was.
That's a good point.
So,
so I'm sorry, I do not recommend this movie.
Yeah, no, not
if you haven't watched it, don't waste your time.
Not worth it. Not worth it. So this one might hurt some of our listeners.
I think it's going to hurt people.
I'm.
We're going to be gentle.
Because I know there's a lot of people that really like this movie. So that's why I'm not going to dwell too much on it.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people that don't really like it, and I'm glad that you've got something out of it. Because it was never anything that was in my wheelhouse growing up.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no history with it. Right.
So this is me going in. This is
brand
dry.
new, fresh.
I didn't even watch the original.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you never watched the original?
Not fully. I was too young when it came.
Then it shows. Then this is why you were bound to now like this one. Then
I was giving it a go. Like it's like
I was excited for it. So we watched the new Dune.
Yeah.
I really wanted to enjoy this more than we did.
Yeah.
I think I felt disappointed, from the advertisement for it. I felt like there was going to be more grand, more emotion, and it felt just a little flat to me, and it felt boring and long. And
did it ever feel long?
So we had kiddo watch this with us. This kid loves
anything Christopher Nolan.
Like
he loved Tenet. He loved Inception.
There's action-y and the drama and the long and the like existential feeling. So I thought, this is going to be perfect for him. I haven't had him ask, when is the movie over, in a really long time. And he kept just being like, oh my God, when is this going to end? And I felt really bad because I'm like, this is a commentary on that it's not interesting or pretty or dramatic or enough. There's not enough going on to keep his interest, right? And the characters, I just couldn't really get behind them. Like, I wanted to so badly.
Yeah, I was bored. It was, for me, there wasn't enough visual excitement to really enthrall me forward. None of the characters made me go, I can relate, or I could find something in it that I inspire to be, or that I want to be. There was no
I liked
fun.
His father. Isaac's.
Oscar Isaac.
I liked him. He was a good man.
But I got bored. I was in the same boat as Kiddo. You know what? I can't wait for this to be over.
Yeah. I felt like there was too much that was in the trailers that took away the intrigue for it. And
that's
honestly,
why I was expecting watching it like 3 months after it came out of theater.
It would have been lost, right? Well, I kept feeling like the connection with, is it Timothée Chalamet? And Zendaya with their characters.
Yeah.
That there was going to be more with it. And then once it comes to the end and it's just like, oh yeah, they find her and it's just like, there's no connection. There's nothing really there.
It's a huge cliffhanger.
It was the cliffhanger and it was meant to be that way. And I get it, but it was disappointing to me somehow because there wasn't enough for the rest of the movie to hook me to be like, I'm super excited for part 2.
Yeah.
Like I might watch part 2, but I don't really know at the same time if I really care to. Like, it's going to have to really, really try to hook me because, as you say, the characters, there was nothing relatable. There was nothing exciting. I could care less about any of them.
Yeah.
I really don't care. Like, it's the other thing that I thought was funny was how much all I could think about was Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then the realization that because the story is before Star Wars, and then how much of it feels like Star Wars is heavily based on it, which is likely true.
Oh, it is, yeah.
You know, I mean, we know that, right?
But George Lucas basically had Dune and Seven Samurai and Disneyfied it.
There you go.
Right?
And so, yeah, you
Made
see
it
this
more
and you're like,
palatable,
and it's like I had to constantly remind myself that this was not a ripoff of Star Wars. So yeah, I don't like it was the my favorite part was seeing the fallout of like the political play, but it wasn't interesting enough to be like, oh, I wonder how this is going to turn out.
Yeah,
you know, it just didn't really.
It felt very predictable on the pacing and all that, and it lost me. The visuals weren't there enough to really grab me because it was that bleak, dark palette.
Yeah,
I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
So we'll move on now because I say we like.
I understand if people really like it. I can see if it really matters to you and you really like it.
Especially if it speaks more to the novel,
style, right? Yeah.
If it speaks more to the novel than the original '84 movie did, then you know. But I've never read the novels. It's never been something that's really thrilled me enough to want to go towards. So
I wouldn't put it anywhere near in the category of complaining like Space Jam or anything like that. Like
no.
It's still a good piece of art in a movie in itself, but there we go.
Speaking of art, though, we watched something that was art, and this was visually. Mm-hmm. This one, as much as it was boring, as much as I probably will never watch it again, this was art unfolding on the screen for me.
It was so clearly art and so obviously trying to be that way that it felt like a painting being done almost.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I really wish we had the edibles at that movie instead, by the way. The music and the sounds and everything, it was very immersive.
Yeah.
So...
The Green Knight.
Yes.
David Lowry's. And there's a connection because Decimus Prime knows the man.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, but he was too mean to hook us up for an interview. We liked it, and he was like, no, I'm not going to call him up again. And I was like,
I'm not gonna help you out.
I know,
Paul.
right?
Jeez,
I was really disappointed. I thought that'd be a good Christmas present, but he gave me butter tarts instead.
No, like
They were good butter tarts, and they were good Nanaimo bars. But
But
interview with a director that's I mean, come on.
You have aim higher next year, dude. Aim higher.
He's just waiting to hook us up when Peter and Wendy comes out.
Okay, there we go. Okay,
that's
so the Green Knight.
The Green Knight
is a like King Arthur, like old King Arthur, and because you see the Knights of the Round Table, and it's essentially like this new knight, and he turns out to be his nephew, I believe.
Yeah. It is based on a poem.
Yes, an anonymous written poem.
Yeah,
and it's basically this Green Knight that looks like he's like stone almost comes. He's wood. Sorry, comes into town. This is awesome.
Rolls into town on his horse.
Rolls into the court.
Let thee attack thee.
Is the game? This is game. It's a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
So it's a Christmas challenge, essentially, that, you strike me, and then a year from now you find me, and I get to strike you back in the same way.
Before that year, you get the power of my axe.
Yes.
And the glory of my...
And the glory of this. You don't know anything about this axe other than it's ginormous.
Yeah. It's a big axe.
It's a big axe.
Ladies love a big axe.
So the King Arthur's nephew that he's hoping to be a knight, he's the only one that accepts the challenge. And the Green Knight doesn't actually fight him. He just stands there and he's just
takes it.
He's just, this new knight is standing there kind of waiting like, well, I don't want to be embarrassed around, because he's literally standing in the round table ring. And so he ends up taking the Green Knight's head off.
Yeah.
And it's then that reminder, in a year from now, you're supposed to be able to do the same thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Crap.
So it's a big journey through the forest and through the woods and through the mountains, filled with giants and ghosts and
weird
everything.
It was trippy.
It was a trip to watch.
As I say, there was
actually, now that I'm saying this, I'm like, I kind of want to watch it again.
Right? Because it was, as I say, very immersive. Like, you had commented, some of the stylings, it really, the shots and the sound that was used and the lighting, it was definitely watching art, as I say, come to life on that. It was a strange, simple story.
It was beautifully shot. It was just really engaging to look at. Yeah. And there was time jumps and there was like possible futures.
Yeah. There was one where something had happened and he looked like he was going to have died, and then it like reversed in time. So it was cool because the shot, you spin around in the forest and then the camera starts going backwards and it's like rewinding time. Mm-hmm. And it was really cool.
Like, there was a lot of just amazing shots within that film. And as much as it was strange and not straightforward, it was pretty to look at, and I was engaged through the bulk of it.
Well, one thing I like, especially being based on a poem, then, is the concept of how it ends. It's not definitive. Mm-hmm. It's not, this is what happened. Yeah. It's left open to interpretation. Yeah. Visually, you can make assumptions in many ways of how it actually went. It feels like it's going to be cut and dry and it's going to be simple and understood. And then you realize that no, it's not. And you get to fill in your own after judging the characters, essentially, and how they're laid out. Be like, what could have happened? And then I think that's one of the best forms of storytelling, is allowing you to kind of build that wonder of that character, right? Yeah. And so the movie allowed for you to do that, which was impressive. So so yes, it did seem drawn out and strange, and it was definitely a lot of like okay, where is this gonna go? What's gonna happen here? But it was definitely art. Yeah, for sure. So. And
that was one thing, like, that's one thing that, as much as there hasn't been a lot of A24 films that I'm like, rewatch, I admire them as a production company for being brave with film.
Letting the
giving
director
us,
have that creativity.
getting us to that point where there's experimental, artsy, strangeness on screen.
Yeah.
To counteract the big budget, just explosive, straightforward. But even when it comes to it, like as much as maybe Marvel has become a cookie cutter, there's a lot of dramas that are considered high concept, made by some big wigs, that big names that they're cookie cutter too.
Yeah,
they just deal with dramatic stories or real life events,
things
right?
Well, and that's the difference. Say with the Marvel, you can tell a story that people can relate to in a fictional world.
Yeah.
I don't always want to watch something where I literally can feel that on a normal basis.
Yeah.
It doesn't let me experience or think about it in a different way.
Yeah.
So even say with the Green Knight, the concept of getting into something too deep, making a promise that you don't really realize oh crap, what have I done?
Mm-hmm.
And the consequence of it all, and the consideration of what could be and what couldn't be. Those are all they're concepts. And we don't always need something to be straightforward on.
Yeah.
We need the concept. And even the Marvel movies have a concept of good and evil and family strife and making friends. So that's the more poignant of a story is how can you have a concept relate to you in a different way, right? So
totally. So that's one thing I really commend them for being more brazen and brave with the art that they're creating, even if some of them haven't been my favorite. But this one was enjoyable. And now that I reflect back on it, I think it would be something that I probably would watch again.
We have another Christmas movie.
Another Christmas movie that isn't necessarily accidentally Christmas,
but it's very specifically they wish Merry Christmas to people in it.
Yeah,
it specifically happens in Christmas. So there you go.
That's very true. Then something came out that around actually the beginning of December that we didn't check out as fast as we would have, but I think it was because of Christmas.
Yeah, we were watching Christmas shows and everything in the morning. We normally would watch it with breakfast on the weekends.
Yeah. So Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous season 4 hit, and I've been a big supporter of the Camp Cretaceous series because it is almost more of what we wanted to. I wanted to see in Jurassic World movies that we hadn't gotten. More hot dino action, Yeah. So seasons 1 through 3, I think, have been really good.
Yeah.
Season 2, I think, being one of the better ones.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun with that. Season 4 came, and unfortunately, it's not a glowing review.
Yeah. We kind of pushed through it just to get it over with.
Yeah. It's the longest season. It's 11 episodes. Most of the seasons have been 8 episodes.
It felt like too long.
Yeah. Because it's taken it now in more of a, and this is going to sound funny because when I said it originally to Katie, it seemed ridiculous. It's taken the world of Jurassic World, Jurassic Park and all that to science fiction.
Yeah.
And that, you're like, well, you're dealing with clone dinosaurs. Yes. But the world that even the Jurassic world seemed okay for, like, there wasn't anything too far-fetched feeling besides, well, they'd be clone dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Right? There wasn't a lot
Which
of
was in itself was
high-tech stuff in the world. It felt feasible for our world.
Yeah.
Season 4 brings us this Cash character that has high-tech gear.
Like AI robots.
And they're high-end. And it's not something we've seen in this world before.
Yeah. This whole facility is so high-end.
With holographic holodomes and...
Yeah, like these massive fake bios.
Yeah.
And... Yeah, it's just these like drone fences idea and these fancy robots and then these upgrades of fancy robots that he just magically shows up.
Yeah.
I don't like a villain that seems overpowered that you don't feel like there's any hope. I got angry at this season.
That's an
Mike was getting
understatement.
frustrated. He was telling me I had to leave the room pretty soon. I got really angry. And I'd also I think because the original seasons here made you feel Like, you loved the concept of the dinosaurs. They were beautiful creatures, even if they were the scary ones. But there was still that awe. But at the same time, it was a survival thing. This one, all I felt was sadness for the dinosaurs, because then the humans were the only bad guys. And I know that the idea of scientists and how far they can push things and do stupid decisions when it comes to things that is the underlying theme of Jurassic World and the park. And I understand that 100%. But this amplified it to the point where it was just so overwhelmingly frustrating. Because we know that they're evil, but I don't see a way out of this. And I still don't see a way out of this. Because if they want to base this in the real world, 6 kids going against this conglomerate of people who don't care at all about animals in general, who's going to really stop them? Who's going to take care of these animals then?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so I felt very hopeless and overwhelmed, and I like the character growth that they did see in them, but right now we were kind of spitballing fan theories about what next season could be. And I feel a little like it's going to be predictable what's going to happen. Yeah. Because they're still just kids, and they still are facing
their alliances and their lead, like where they need to be. Like, I think it's just going to get too long in the tooth of what could happen.
Like, they need to be away from the situation. I think the character development can only happen so much now.
Well, it's the idea that I didn't expect this series to go 4 or 5, 6 seasons. It was the idea,
I was hoping they would just get off the island and be done.
Yeah.
And that would be it, because it's already a huge feat for them to survive 6 months after
with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Right. So escaping off the island and getting onto another island that's, run by an evil corporation with robots that are controlling dinosaurs, and the super robots that,
these fake biomes and all this, everything's fake about it.
It got super science fiction. It got almost into the realm of Westworld.
Yes.
So unless
exactly. It feels like Westworld.
Unless Universal got the rights to Westworld, and they're going to try to incorporate it into, Jurassic World, it seems weird, because Camp Cretaceous is canon to the story.
Well, in this Cash character, he's a great villain for sure, but he's overwhelmingly terrible.
Because he's a baby.
Yeah, he's just
a man baby.
It's a commentary on things, but it is just, I hate him so much, and he makes me so angry.
Yeah.
And then it overrides my enjoyment for the rest of it, right?
Yeah.
So we watched, kind of ripped the Band-Aid off and just kept pushing through. I'll still watch the next season because I want to know how it happens, but I'm definitely feeling like they should have just let it go.
Made it back home.
Yeah, and then just be done with it, right? So.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was disappointed. So this episode's been not the most rad. I'm sorry.
I know. We're trying to stay upbeat, but
so we watched the Return to Hogwarts.
Yeah, the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter. It was a special. It was HBO in the States, and we got it, of course, because we had Crave. And so it was just under 2 hours, actually, of a lot of the main characters coming back and reflecting on the different sets and coming back together. We got to have interviews with the directors and learn bits and pieces.
I think the stuff with the directors was the most interesting.
Well, the beginning. So I love the way they set it up, as if the actors got invites to Hogwarts, and it was so magical. Kickstarting it, it was really trying to bring you back into that world. And I think. They broke it up into chapters based on the different movies. I think the first 2 movies, the first chapter there was the most interesting, seeing how it got up and running and how they cast everyone.
And Chris Columbus, he
just loves it so much. Yeah. You can tell that he has nothing but pure joy for what had actually happened.
And regret.
Regret that he walked away, for sure. So that was definitely the most interesting, but it was really fun hearing about how the, Hermione, Ron, and Harry got cast, and how, because you can't imagine anything else but them.
Yeah.
And how that actually came to be. So.
Yeah. No, it was interesting. It was there was stuff that felt like it could have easily been cut. It was way longer than I expected.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see, and I know it really spurred you to want to watch The Wizarding World again.
Yeah, it made me want to watch everything again. Same with Kiddo, because we also did get a whole bunch of Harry Potter Lego for Christmas. I got the Wizarding chess set as well. So all of these types of things make me want to dive back into that world again. Yeah. It was watching one special that had all the movies in it. You really see that difference in the style of the stories, and it makes sense with them growing up. But how different they were, and bright and shiny to so dark and drab, and but to see their human, the actors grow up together, and the characters grow up like that.
Well, it was a feat. I don't think it'd be so hard for them to do something like that now. I don't think we could actually see, unless a show like did multiple seasons a year. I don't think we would see
something happened like that really made sense. It never was like, oh wow, yeah, it's obviously been way too long, but that says it's only been a year.
Yeah.
Like, we don't realize and appreciate, I think, how young they actually were in that first movie.
Well, it
was ridiculous.
You would have to just film the entire thing like back to back.
Yeah. And then you wouldn't be able to actually have parents be okay with that, right? So it was fun to see, but I did feel maybe the last 25 minutes or so, like I really was like, they are just saying the same thing over and over. Every single one of them is saying the same thing, and they've already said it throughout the rest of it. We don't need a recap. Of things, and I appreciate that you loved it and you have nothing but great memories on it, but you're not saying anything new right now. Make it stop.
Please make it stop.
So
but it was interesting to see. Totally was.
Valkyrie came back. Let's see if she can calm down, or if she's gonna try to roar. She's our dinosaur cat, so aren't you? Yes, you are. You're a dinosaur cat.
So we ended up checking something else out. It's on Netflix. It's called Don't Look Up. It's from Adam McKay. It starred Jennifer Lawrence and
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, those are the main two in it. And it was a blast.
Meryl Streep, I guess, was a
Meryl
big
Streep.
character.
There's a lot of people in it.
Yeah.
And I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting film and a very interesting commentary, almost satire.
It's definitely
on
a satire
world
movie
today.
Yes.
The idea is that there is a comet that is found that's coming to Earth.
It's going to be hitting us in 6 months.
Yeah, and the scientists try to warn us about it.
Extinction level comet, by the way, our comet.
The scientists try to warn us, and how the government handles it, and what they do, and how the media handles it,
and how the general public handles it, and everything.
It was so interesting to watch.
Well, and how the change on, say, the scientists, on how they react to being in the public eye, and how the public then, how they change and react to when the public reacts to them, and being, so frustrated. Like Jennifer Lawrence's character just gets so frustrated with people that they're not terrified, and
depressed and sad and crying
and just overwhelmed and so angry. So she becomes this villain, and Leonardo DiCaprio is just very, very nervous and anxiety.
Becomes a yes man.
But he's just happy to be there almost. While people are listening to me, people are wanting to pay attention to me, and he just morphs and changes to fit whatever keeps getting him the attention, right? And so all of it, they just did so good in their acting.
Oh yeah.
The story was so well written. I was so entertained, and I kept thinking of how it was going to end, but I wasn't sure until the very, very end.
Oh yeah.
It kept you enough that it wasn't like, oh yeah, this is totally happening.
Right.
Because what was their final end game.
Yeah. And they deal with mega conglomerate
corporation
tech companies and how they have influence over the government
and people and how they've built themselves up to be gods essentially in our world. And there was so much good commentary, but it was a satire.
It was like dark at times, because like I look at it and I was like, damn, this is our world. This is literally our world. Like, we're laughing at this, but it was like what would happen. It
was like a less funny Idiocracy.
Yeah, right. Like more dramatic and more like you're just like, this is.
It was a little too right now. Yeah. Because if this would happen right now if someone came out and said that there was a comet coming towards us.
Well, that's why
It's not a future
I
thing.
leaned
It's
over and I was
literally
like,
right now.
what if this is their way to tell us that there's actually a comet coming to Earth in 6 months?
Right?
Like, what if they're like, no one would listen, so then Hollywood made a movie and we're like, hey, this is happening. We're
Because
just
that's the commentary in the movie, is in that they're trying to find ways to get the public to listen because the government
Right?
doesn't want to say anything.
Don't look up. Don't
The back and
listen.
forth and-
the
oh.
conspiracy that there is no comet. There's no comet coming to kill us.
Right? So,
Jonah Hill's in it.
yeah.
Chris Evans makes a cameo.
That was pretty funny. I had to look and I'm like, I hear him. I don't see him, but I hear him. It's definitely Chris. Well, Kate Blanchett plays a news
News anchor. Tyler Perry.
show host. I had seen her on the credits, and I didn't realize it was her into the very, very end when she's just all drunk and a little bit less put together.
Yeah, less makeup.
And I'm like, holy crap, that's Kate Blanchett. But she looks so fake in the rest
Yeah.
of the movie. She, like, the prosthetics and makeup on her is so impressive.
They youthed her up quite a bit.
Yeah,
with the
like I
makeup.
didn't even recognize her. So that was really cool to see, right? Then they
Yeah.
really made her that part. So I would definitely recommend at least checking this
yeah.
out. If you're open to the satire of our world and the concept of what could happen if, science versus the government and the good of the people
Yeah.
concept, it's worth looking at and at least questioning a healthy question of the world around
Oh yeah.
us. So.
Like, yeah, it was brilliantly done. Like,
And very well acted. Like,
Yeah.
such a good movie. So.
yeah. No, I was really impressed with it. It was, out of everything we watched this last week here, that was the thing I enjoyed the most.
Well,
besides Hawkeye, but that was the week before. So I'm talking about the week
The
after
movies
Christmas.
wise too, and I would watch this again because there was enough going on
Yeah.
that there was enough humor and enough drama and enough of everything to watch it again. So
Totally was. So check out Don't Look Up on Netflix. Okay, so we're gonna leave you with, because we've done the year in review or the wrap or our top 10s and all that.
Yeah.
But these last couple years we haven't really done that because we haven't really
there
had
was no movie.
a lot of new content for movies. We were doing a lot of renditions over the last little while.
Yeah.
So we looked through our movies and all that, and there still wasn't a lot of new movies that we watched, or there was movies that came out that we hadn't seen.
Yeah.
So we came to a consensus. There are 5 movies for 2021 that we saw.
Yeah.
Now, there could be some stuff that we see that came from 2021 once it comes more on demand for us. That could change that, but I don't know. I don't know who will.
Yeah, because these are pretty solid movies for us.
But these are a consensus of 5 movies that we really liked from 2021.
And we've already talked about them on the podcast
Yeah.
and everything, so it's more of just a nice recap for us.
So the reminder, and so in 5th spot, what is your 5th spot?
I would say 5th spot would be Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
That one I would put in my 5th as well.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of fun. We've watched it a couple times now. It still was a lot of fun on a rewatch. It was a lot of action and humor, and it was really fun. And it's something I think that on the level of a Guardians style movie that you could just go back and
It's just fun. What's nice too is it does stand by itself.
yeah.
We know it fits into a different, a bigger world, but in itself is okay just as is. And that's what's
Exactly.
really cool. So
Exactly. Number 4.
Last Night in Soho.
That one there, I agree, as my 4th movie as well for the year. It is engaging. It is action, thriller orientated, filled with just something. There's a mystique to it, and I still believe that mystique holds. Edgar Wright did a great job crafting a very intriguing film.
Yeah, I love the way it twists and turns, and the story unraveling is just amazing.
Number 3.
Number 3. I don't know.
This is where we differ a little
We
bit.
differ a little bit. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to say number 3 is No Way Home. Spider-Man.
Okay, you're conceding
I'm okay
to me
with
on that? Oh,
I
okay.
do. I at least, okay, we know how bad I hate lists. I did formulate a list in my head. before he told me his list, so I didn't copy him completely. But I can put this one here, no problem.
Okay. No Way Home. I think it's going to be one that we need to watch bazillion times.
Yes.
But it had a lot of heart. It had a lot of thrills, a lot of action, and it was a great ending to John Watts' Home trilogy for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The joint effort between Sony and Marvel definitely brought Holland's Spider-Man top game.
Yeah. I'm really excited to watch it again.
Yeah, I'm excited to buy it. It's going to be one that I actually buy.
Yeah.
Not trust that a streaming service has it. It'll be a purchase so that I can just watch it whenever.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it'll be on Plus because it's a Sony film.
Yeah.
You gotta remember that none of the Spider-Man movies are on
They aren't
Plus.
on there. You're right.
They're
so
on
we have to
Netflix
buy
right
it.
now.
Yeah.
But
when it's
Sony,
owned and mixed around with things, then I don't trust it.
Yeah. But with getting to see Maguire and Garfield come back to kind of change and bring a loving story within.
Well, it brings me so much peace with all the other Spider-Man too.
Yeah.
And I think I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it to wrap up and give me this fondness for everything else that had kind of turned a bit sour.
Yeah.
And that
I was
really
also
impressive.
worried with them doing a Spider-Verse style film with after having actual Spider-Verse, if it was going to be
felt a little too copied.
too copied, but they made
wasn't
it
at
their
all.
own, and it propelled Holland's Spider-Man forward, which I look forward to seeing what will happen in the next trilogy of films.
Agree. Okay, what's number 2?
Number 2 for me is The Suicide Squad. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
It brought me back to the cinema in over a year.
Yeah. Twice.
Because we bought it because it was just too much fun.
Yeah.
It was big, loud. It was the Guardians of the Galaxy, but R-rated, just stupidity, but at the same time has some very gorgeous cinematography and smart humor,
right?
And heart to characters I could care less about.
Well, something so bombastic still had art in it.
Yeah.
And that was just so impressive.
I still think King Shark ripping a man in half in the rain with lightning behind him is one of the best shots of the year. Hands down.
Well,
even if some of the art we talked about in this podcast.
It was a giant shark man, and yet it almost felt real.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't done in a cheap, cartoony way. It was like, holy crap, there's a giant shark man ripping a man in half. And it was dealt with so much seriousness and gravity.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's such a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Like, it is my favorite shot of 2021.
Yeah.
I know James Gunn will never listen to the podcast, but if you do listen,
we love you.
To this moment, like, this is fantastic. I think this moment of this film is one of the best, and you brought Peacemaker, John Cena's character, which I can't wait to watch the show. Someone that I wouldn't like as a character. I don't like villains turned heroes.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Right? And
yet this one is acceptable.
This one is just up there as like, I'm excited to see more of this character.
Yeah.
And that's something I wasn't expecting to see or feel.
Well, because I was expecting to just be like, oh, well, they're just filling in more spots, and Harley Quinn is going to be Harley Quinn show. And no, it wasn't Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad. It was them all equally interesting characters.
Right? And Idris Elba's Bloodsport.
We got Calendar Man.
Yeah, I mean Calendar
what
Man
else could we ask
killed
for?
It.
It was amazing
for this. I
really hope they've watched the other episodes or listened to the other episodes.
They did Polka Dot Man dirty. I mean, like, that was like a 2-second spot in that film. But,
I know, right?
But Calendar Man,
he was just like amazing.
All serious though, if you haven't listened to our other ones, we made a flub on the name, and our friend won't let it down.
And now it's forever Calendar Man instead of Polka Dot Man.
Yeah, but Polka Dot Man was incredible in that movie.
Yeah. Well, now that actor has now also been deemed Calendar Man. I saw him in something else. I was like, hey, Mike, it's Calendar Man.
You saw him in Dune.
Yeah. Calendar Man was in Dune. Did you know that?
Right. So. But The Suicide Squad, the music, it brought us to find out. For me, it brought me to find out more about Grandson and listen to his music.
Yeah.
And K-Flay.
Yeah.
Or however you say her name. K. Flay.
It looks like K-Flay.
Yeah. So it was the movie of the year for me as like a whole.
Yeah.
Right. I bought toys.
Well, it was fun to be able to go to the theater for it again. Yeah, you went whole in with
I
the
bought
toys.
the McFarlane toys. I still love my McFarlane toys from that line. It's probably McFarlane's best movie figures they've made. My Peacemaker made it into my top 10 figures of the year because it's just so expressive with the head tilt and everything. So yeah, you know, so you're wondering then, like, they talk so amazingly about
what could actually be
what would be number one. So my number one movie still for the year
is Tick, Tick, Boom.
Andrew Garfield makes it into two movies that we love in our top 5
He's
of
one of my new favorite people, by the way.
But Tick, Tick, Boom, directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Lin-Manuel,
Yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Yeah. This was just a brilliant film. The music in this was so fantastic because it is actually a stage production. And Andrew Garfield's acting in it is just brilliant. His singing, his delivery, everything about it.
We haven't watched it again, but because it was a relatively recent watch, but I am very much looking forward to watching it again because I was so engrossed with it, and when it was over, it left me with so much joy and sadness all at the same time. And it was beautiful to watch and so well acted. And I love the way it was put together. I can't say enough good things about it.
Thor, go away. You're ruining the end of this poignant podcast. He's attacking the microphone stand.
He's rubbing on things.
Yeah.
He's like, I have not marked this yet.
But yes, Tick, Tick, Boom.
And you're not going to jump over the laptop. Oh my goodness.
Was and is still my favorite film of 2021. I don't think Lin-Manuel gets enough credit for his direction of this film, though. Yeah. Because it's not dealing with his music.
And that's the thing.
I think it got swept under the radar.
Yeah, for him, I think he did such a good job, but it wasn't his music.
Yeah.
So I think he's brilliant. In creating this and putting this together. He did a fantabulous job.
Well, because he had to arrange,
it wasn't just him.
Even though it's not his music, he had to arrange how the music was to be used within the film and
because
how
it's not a stage production.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and there is so much art into this film that it is just a great movie.
Yeah,
and I highly recommend it. So our top 5 as they stand: Tick, Tick, Boom. It's a Netflix movie, so it's on there already for you.
So go watch it if you haven't already.
The Suicide Squad. It's back on HBO Max. It's on Crave. Totally worth watching. No Way Home. You still got to head to theaters to see it.
Yeah.
Last Night in Soho. I don't think it's available for anything. We rented it.
Like on demand, yeah.
Yeah. And Shang-Chi and the
Legend of the Ten
Rings. It's on Disney Plus.
Yes.
So they're all available in some form to go see. And that was our,
that was
our top.
We wrapped it up. We had some really good movies still.
There was a lot of good ones in there. And, James Gunn left us with the taste of wanting more, and we're going to get more in January here.
When Eagly
January
comes
13th,
out.
the Eagly show with that Peacemaker guy. I can't wait to see it. Yeah. I can't wait to point out to all you people where Vancouver is because it was filmed up here.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting.
So we'll see what happens. 2022 is really starting up now.
2022!
And
we started watching Inside Job.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Basically a Rick and Morty meets X-Files.
Yes.
So like literally X-Files, the Netflix description was correct.
Yeah. So we'll have a nice review on that when we get near the end of it because that has been a good time for sure. So, well, Mike, I think that's the end of 2021.
That's the end of it for now.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
And remember, stay rad, dudes.